There's no magic recipe, but we try to make a wine that is voluptuous, and to me, it's like a big, huge Cabernet, but has a finish like a Pinot Noir, just something you want to drink. And it's different each year. And the components are different. I don't know if you've had a chance to go through these yet, but we try to use all 5, but some years it's a little difficult because some of the wines are different from year to year. The Cabernet Sauvignon is our strong variety. That makes our best wine. So we know that the base, the core of our wine is going to be made out of Cabernet. That's just pretty much a given. You know, you taste all the wines, and the Cabernet is big and rich, but sometimes maybe a little too intense. So how do we back off on that intensity? Well, we have these other varieties. Merlot, a little bit softer. Doesn't age as long, but it softens the tannins in the Cabernet. Now, Merlot also has a tendency to have a little herbaceous characteristic. You like the Cabernet, it has the black currants, the cherries, the black fruits, sometimes the plums, but Merlot can also have a little bit of a black tea quality, a little herbaceousness. You got to watch out because most people like to drink fruits and berries and not vegetables. So Cabernet Franc, another wine, is sort of the Beaujolais of the Cabernet family, has a nice fruity softness about it, complex, but maybe a little too much of that. It also, Cabernet Franc has what winemakers call the curse of the wandering veg, because if it's grown in cold climate, and it's a very vigorous variety, it's closely related to Sauvignon Blanc, and Cabernet Franc can be wonderful at the time of bottling, and then 2 years later you pull the cork out and go, where'd these bell peppers come from? Bell peppers and green beans. And that can overwhelm the wine. It can distract from it. So you got to be careful with the Cabernet Franc. Petit Verdot. Petit Verdot is the Indian ink. It is huge. It is dark. It is tannic. Quite often in France, this is used in years where they're having difficulty getting color, difficulty getting tan, and they add that to the wine to give it some backbone. So that's the Petit Verdot. New kid on the block for us is Malbec. Everybody knows Malbec grows very well in Argentina. We're finding that Malbec grows very well in Argentina and only some places in Sonoma County. And we're trying to match that fickle variety with the right vineyard sites. It's not up on top of the mountain, and it's not down on the valley floor, but it's maybe halfway up on the slope where there's a little more soil. The grapes, when Malbec is grown great and you have a crop, because sometimes it doesn't set a crop, winemakers call it the blueberry motor oil of the blend. It just has this beautiful blueberry fruit, dark, unctuous, and just a viscosity, just really thick. And a little bit of that in the blend really helps it. We're going to be dividing you up into...
You got a little bit too much bell pepper in there.
Yeah, I'm going to... So I'm going with 100 milliliters. 5% Petit Verdot. And then the rest...
The rest will be even, so that's 35. 45 divided by 3 is 15% each. So
it's 45 divided by
3.
A little more fat for us?
Okay. Well, let's try then boosting the cab to 50%, and then the other 4 splitting those evenly.
Reblend. I think we have to have the wine before we can talk with the name.
Okay, we'll be inspired by our...
That's true. Good call on the cab.
So these little bottles were...
Maybe I'll take 1 box of 12, and just dump it in the refrigerator.
Okay, the wine that just really rocked me, and I have to say, when I put it in my mouth, I go, wow. It was this Californian. It was just, everything was there. This thing had been working out and well muscled. But a long finish, kind of like a big man dancing in ballet, kind of like and the finish was really long. It had the power, but it didn't. The tannins were well in check and very supple. And that wine was called Equation.
What about that base?